This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Chronic bias remains against women. A UN report says 25% of people feel it's fine for men to beat their wives. Social Services Minister Wilshcombe says the Bahamas will lead the fight to advance women's rights. Fred Mitchell warning Freeport licensees not to be used. And it's International Literacy Day. We're talking with Rotary about this and what you know about it. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, September 7th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us also this morning in business. We're talking with Doctors Hospital. A lot of things happening there. They're going to tell us all about it. That's coming up. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, citing the urgent need to severe chronic bias against women, Minister of Social Services Obi Wilshcombe says that the government is committed to advancing in the Bahamas. He's responding to a recent report by the United Nations Development Program, the report revealing a chronic bias against women globally over the last decade. The report, which was launched on Monday, states, quote, no improvement in the level of prejudice shown against women over the past decade. The report also states that half of the people in the world still believe that men make better leaders than women, and more than 40% believe that men make better business executives than women. Wilshcombe also saying that the report revealed that a staggering 25% of people believe it's justified for a man to beat his wife. And the report argues that these biases drive hurdles faced by women, manifesting in a dismantling of women's rights in many parts of the world. The report also noted that there's a broken link between women's progress in education and economic empowerment. Wilshcombe says his ministry accepts the report that emphasizes that governments have a crucial role to play in shifting gender social norms and adopting parental leave policies that have changed perceptions around care work responsibilities. In other news, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell warning the licensees in Freeport not to be used for the personal gain of others who may not have the best interest of the city at heart. The Freeport Licensee Association is holding an education seminar next Monday on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. In an interview with ZNS, Mitchell, who has been engaged in a war of words with the Grand Bahama Port Authority in recent months, said he thinks that licensees and other people of goodwill in Freeport ought to be concerned about being dragged into warfare with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. He said, quote, "The corporate entity, GBPA, is working quite well. There's no issue with the government. But the suspicion is that there are some elements that are trying to organize because they want the thing to go in a particular direction." The war of words between the GBPA and the Davis administration started in May when he gave his budget communication in Parliament. Prime Minister Philip Davis accused the port of failing the people of Freeport. A 28-year-old man remanded to prison after he was charged with attempted murder and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. The charges stem from a July 26th shooting in Pyewood Gardens. Prosecutors say Shaquan Dean shot Ricardo Bullard in the front of his home on Cottonwood Street. Bullard is paralyzed as a result of the incident. Dean was not required to enter pleas to the charges when he made his initial court appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. Dean's matter was adjourned to December 7th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment that will fast-track his case to the Supreme Court for trial. And a man accused of a 2020 shooting that killed one man and injured two others has been granted bail. He was granted $15,000 bail yesterday. Omar Daniels has been in custody for almost 3 years. The delay in bringing his case to trial was one of the reasons that Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson granted him bail. His trial is set for February 25th, 2024, before Grant Thompson. Daniels is charged with the November 4th murder of Dwight Williams and the attempted murders of Laurent Harrison and Kareem Maynard. Police say the shooting victims were outside a home on Peter Street when two gunmen got out of a car and shot them. As a condition of his bail, Daniels must wear an ankle monitor and keep a curfew of 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and sign in the police station. Overseas, 5 drones shot down over 3 Russian regions overnight, with one targeting the capital. There were reports of no casualties, though. Meanwhile, Russia launched a 4th day of air attacks on the Ukrainian port city of Izmail, located on the Danube River. The regional governor of Odessa said infrastructure was damaged in the attack, including grain silos, and 1 person was injured. The attack coming 1 day after Russian missiles struck a busy market in an eastern city in the Donetsk region, killing 17 people and wounding at least 32. The attack overshadowed a 2-day visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, aimed at assessing Ukraine's 3-month-old counteroffensive and signaling continued U.S. support for the fight. 1 drone targeted Moscow, but was shot down southeast of the city without causing any damage or injuries. 2 more drones were shot down over a southern region which borders Ukraine. The debris fell in the center of the region's capital, damaging several cars and shattering windows in 3 buildings. And a Mexican Supreme Court decision to end the federal ban on abortion extended a regional trend of increasing access to the procedure, but left in place a patchwork of varying state restrictions. The High Court Wednesday threw out all federal criminal penalties for abortion in a ruling that will require the Federal Public Health Service to offer the procedure to anyone who requests it. That will mean access for millions of Mexicans, since the Social Security Service and other federal institutions provide health care to most people who work in the formal economy. Some 20 Mexican states, though, still criminalize abortion. Those laws were not affected by the Supreme Court ruling, but abortion rights activists will likely ask state judges to follow its logic. Abortions are not widely prosecuted as a crime in Mexico, but many doctors refuse to provide them, citing the law. Celebration of the ruling soon spilled out onto social media, though. In sports, after a rocky start to their season, Bahamian Jonquil J.J. Jones and the New York Liberty have picked up steam and are still rolling as they recorded a 7th straight win Tuesday, holding off a feisty Dallas Wings team, 94-93 in Arlington, Texas. Jones came with some points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 30 minutes on the floor. Bahamian Eugene Stewart is returning to Europe to continue his professional volleyball career after a 1-year hiatus. He heads to Portugal to play for the 2023-2024 season. Stewart will be playing in Portuguese Volleyball League A1, the premier volleyball league in the country. It was a tough year, but he and his agent able to find a good contract. You can get details on it in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian professional baseball player Jazz Ratto Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the Miami Marlins continue to roll, now in sole possession of the final wildcard spot for the National League in Major League Baseball. They blasted the NL West leading Los Angeles Dodgers 11-4, picking up their 6th straight win yesterday and 7th in the last 9 games. The Marlins have a 72-67 win-loss record. They're just percentage points ahead of the Cincinnati Reds at 73-69 and the Arizona Diamondbacks 72-68 for the final wild-card spot in the National League playoff race. The San Francisco Giants are 2.5 games back at 70-70. Chisholm himself, he's been on fire, slamming a home run for the 2nd consecutive game Wednesday. He had a solo upper deck shot that traveled 436 feet on Tuesday and then blasted a 3-run shot to highlight a 9-run 5th inning for the Marlins on Wednesday, blowing the game open at Lone Depot Park in Miami. It's the 4th time this season and 5th time in his career that he's gone deep on consecutive days. From the U.S. Open tennis, Carlos Alcaraz finding himself in a hint of a predicament 35 minutes into his U.S. Open quarterfinal against Alexander Zverev Wednesday night, all at 3-all in the first set under the lights in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Zverev earned the first break points of the match, an opportunity to gain an early edge against the defending champion, and then poof, Alcaraz dismissed those chances to hold, then gained a break himself in the next game by depositing an overhead that bounced into the stands. The top-seeded Alcaraz pushed aside Zverev 6-3, 6-2, 6-4, and moved a step closer to the first man to win consecutive titles at Flushing Meadows since Roger Federer collected 5 in a row from 2004 to 2008. The other big story of the U.S. Open has been the heat. It's been brutally hot in New York and soaked in sweat as the temperature neared 95 degrees Fahrenheit on the hottest day at the U.S. Open so far. 2021 champion Daniil Medvedev walking slowly to towel off between points of his victory, but looking into the courtside camera and issuing what sounded like a mix of a warning and a plea. He said, quote, "You cannot imagine. One player is going to die and they're going to see." That's how hot it's been. Medvedev, the 27-year-old Russian, seeded number 3, said after eliminating Andrew Rublev 6-4, 6-3, 6-4 to reach the semifinals at Flushing Meadows for the 4th time, calling it a dangerous situation and asking how far this is going to go before someone really gets hurt. Well, an AP analysis, it's feeling hotter and hotter at Grand Slam tournaments in recent decades, reflecting the climate change seen in heat waves around the globe this summer. Week 2 of the U.S. Open is pushing players to the limit. They're using ice in plastic bags or wrapped in towels and courtside tubes blowing cold air to try to stay cool. Medvedev had to use an inhaler during a second set changeover while being looked at by a doctor who checked his breathing. So we'll see how it goes over the next few days. But that's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Lee is now a hurricane and is expected to rapidly strengthen, and large swells are likely to reach the Lesser Antilles and the Virgin Islands of Puerto Rico through the weekend. We'll have the very latest on where Lee is coming up in just a moment. But with your weather for today, we've got light winds and stable conditions that will continue across the northwest and central Bahamas, while shower activity will persist over portions of the southeastern islands due to lingering troughing. Special warnings due to the approaching Hurricane Lee, which is expected to be very near to the Bahamas in the next few days. Mariners and beachgoers should exercise caution due to rough surf and lingering swells along Atlantic-exposed coastlines. However, mariners should plan to remain in port, and beachgoers are strongly advised to refrain from entering the sea due to life-threatening conditions that will impact the country by Sunday evening. Motorists should avoid traveling on coastal roads due to sea spray and overtopping waves, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Luther by late Sunday. More on that coming up. For today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas, mostly sunny, very warm with the chance of isolated showers, becoming mostly fair and warm tonight. Small craft should exercise caution due to swells. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 1 to 3 feet with light northeasterly swells. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly cloudy with showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Small craft should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas that will occur in showers or thunderstorms. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet with light northeasterly swells. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's about 99 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's your back-to-school grow with Scotiabank. Use any Scotiabank credit card to purchase any back-to-school items valuing $150 and over, and you could be one of 3 lucky winners of $1,500. That's up to $4,500 in cash back for you to win your share when you buy books, uniforms, shoes, laptops, tablets, phones, and other accessories for back-to-school using your Scotiabank credit card. Visit bs.scotiabank.com for more information. Promotion ends September 3rd, 2023.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities, diagnoses, and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Too many debt bills? Overdue on loan payments? Improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Shrink your debt payments with a debt consolidation loan and built-in savings that pays you 5% interest. Call 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio text on your devices, on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. You can watch us on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Gardner Laverne. Good morning. Good morning, Laverne. Are you muted? Yes, you are on mute.
Good morning. I was
go.
having an entire conversation with you on mute.
Oh, dear. That's always the case. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well.
I am well. Good to hear your voice.
Same here. All right, so we have a lot to get to this morning. Coming up, it's tomorrow. International Literacy Day is September 8th. That's tomorrow. Today's the 7th, right? So we're going to be talking with that. Rotary has some big plans. We're going to hear from them. And then later, Doctors Hospital. There's a lot going on, as always, with Doctors Hospital. We're going to get into that with them in Morning Blend Business. That's all straight ahead. But let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, all eyes on Hurricane Lee. Lee is getting bigger and stronger every day, it seems, and likely to be Category 4 soon. The models at the moment don't have it coming to the Bahamas, but it's coming uncomfortably close to the Bahamas. And that means there will be impacts, especially for mariners and on Atlantic exposures. So the islands of the eastern Bahamas need to be paying close attention. We all do by the weekend and into early next week. So we will keep you updated on it, but you need to be paying attention to this, right? So the steering currents and all the jet stream and all this stuff have it taking a turn. We hope, we're praying, right, out into the Atlantic and away from everybody, but it'll be too close. So that means pay attention. If you're a boater thinking about getting out into the ocean this weekend, you might want to reconsider that. And if you're not listening, somebody tell them, right? Okay. But again, we'll have more on that coming up, and we'll keep you posted throughout the week and into the weekend. All right, so in the news, that big headline in the National Guardian, chronic bias remains against women. A UN report says that 25% of people believe it's fine for men to beat their wives. The report also showing that there's still a lot of prejudice against women, that people believe that men make better leaders, men make better business executives, and that I guess just that men are better. So Social Services Minister Obi Wilshcom says they're going to lead in the fight to advance women's rights and change these mindsets. All right. So, Laverne, any comments on that?
No.
What? That's it's great.
What can we say?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because all right, so we see this. United Nations released this information, and there really is a disparity, and then we get this. But everything, it feels as if everything that is put forth here in this country, there's a fight. There is still very much that same kind of view. So what are we going? We're going to lead the fight. I don't really the charge. I don't really know what that means. What does that look like? Us leading the charge?
It's very confusing, especially when bills are presented and at the last minute changed, and then when we change the bills and pass the bills, then we say, we're going to tweak the bills, the acts now, and the acts, the law,
and then we turn around and say, well, we're still open to dialogue.
Right. So
that's why I'm like, what can I say other than perhaps this is just rhetoric?
Yes.
Our actions certainly does not appear as if we're prepared to lead the charge.
Right. So this is one note, one thing that Wilshcom says on this. He says they're going to, the report says countries need to focus on expanding human development through investment, insurance, and innovation. And this includes investing in laws and policy measures that promote women's equality in political participation, such as strengthening social protection and care systems and encouraging innovative interventions that could be particularly effective in challenging harmful social norms, patriarchal attitudes, and gender stereotypes. And that the report recommends addressing social norms through education to change people's views, policies, and legal changes that recognize the rights of women in all spheres of life. Okay. But again, he says the ministry accepts the report and it emphasizes that governments have a crucial role to play in shifting gender social norms. All right. So we'll see. We'll see what it means. Speaking of lots of talk, Fred Mitchell again warning. What's going on up there? What's happening? What's the real story, Laverne? You're from Grand Bahama. What's really going on here? Once again, every couple of days is something. Fred Mitchell is warning the licensees not to be used by people with agendas. And this back and forth has been going almost constantly since May, since the Prime Minister.
Is it really though a back and forth?
You don't think so? Or is it just someone throwing rocks? One person throwing rocks? Oh, okay.
Right.
And once in a while, somebody on the inside says, stop throwing rocks at us.
Right. Okay. That's more of the way that I see it. I don't know what this warning is about. If someone is having something that they want to educate the people in Grand Bahama so that they have a clear understanding of what the Grand Bahama Port Authority, what their responsibilities are. I don't see that as an agenda. I see it as an opinion, a better understanding of what the Grand Bahama Port Authorities, what their responsibilities are, what their expectations are. So that when people do speak up, they are speaking up with knowledge and they are saying what is true and what is correct. And if they are pointing out things that the Port Authority is not doing that they should be doing, that it is accurate information. So I don't know what the agenda is other than that. But I promise you that I'll let you know because I do plan to attend that meeting.
Okay.
I am not, how do I want to say this? Okay, here's what I want to say. If other parts of the island were booming, flourishing, filled with investments in new businesses and ribbon cutting and grounding, I say go ahead and throw all the rocks you want.
But outside of the port area,
Right.
we've got a desert.
Right. There's no booming and flourishing. There's no ribbon cutting. There's no whatever. So whose fault is that? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, nothing really happening like that to Freeport, Grandpa, and Freeport either. So if there's any room for anyone to point fingers at each other, I think there's been a failure on both parts. So let's not try to change the narrative. And all of a sudden, what I think that Grand Bahamians need to be aware of and they need to really be mindful of is not allow us to become pawns for anyone.
Yeah. Well,
we stand on the side of Grand Bahamians. That's what we stand on the side. We stand on the side of Grand Bahamians, and we support initiatives that will assist in boosting the economy for Grand Bahama, for Grand Bahamians. Yeah. That's what we're interested in. We're not interested in these little petty games and stuff, because Peter's not better than Paul.
Well, I'm tired of telling you all what needs to happen there. Nobody cares, so that's fine. But yeah, you all continue.
No, we care. We care. We do care. We do care. Let me say that. And I know you were tired of telling us what we need to do. And maybe Grand Bahamians are tired of people who don't live in Grand Bahama acting like they have all of the answers.
I'm sure.
When you really do not have a clear understanding of the dynamics or how it works.
Yes,
so,
that's probably right.
People.
That doesn't mean that those ideas won't work, though. But I'm sure.
No. I'm not saying that. But people sit from their place of privilege, and they say you should do this, and you should do that, and you should do. So, and my thing is, and then they turn around and say, y'all don't want better. Like, excuse me. You think people in Grand Bahama like the way Grand Bahama is and they do not want better? Like, are you insane? The arrogance of that? But anyway, moving right along to the next in the news.
We'll see how long these talks continue. But just for those who might not be familiar.
Games continue.
Games, you're right. But the island does need autonomy to become a semi-autonomous state within the country and handle its affairs by people from the island to serve there. Yes, I'm talking about real local government. Real government. But anyway, that's a whole other show. All right, but the meeting you're talking about is a Freeport Licensing Association meeting on Monday about the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. Because as you said, a lot of people don't really understand it and only have a very sliver of an understanding of what really
exactly. And then some of that is incorrect because it's just something that they were told.
Yes, exactly. All right,
right? Someone told someone who told someone.
Let's get your reaction on what we've been talking about so far, folks. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Text here, Minister Wilshcombe should try to work on people like this. This person says, "Hey, Dwight, why are you all constantly talking about women? It's really important, but come on. What about the discrimination against Bahamians? What now? What? We can't build anything on our land, but Haitians can do as they please. This country is getting nasty by the day."
Right. If I can ask a question,
Don't
is
ask
this
me.
in the news?
I don't
Is
know
this
anything
in the
about
news?
this.
Were we discussing in the news?
That's what they heard when we talked about the bias against women.
Right. We were talking, and so this wasn't us leaving a conversation, right? This is
But
us
we talk about
discussing
women
what
far
was
too
said.
much. I mean,
Okay.
women, schwomen, whatever. I don't know. Hey, what?
Okay.
What's up with them? Why y'all like them so much?
All right.
What's the point? Okay, this one says here, from under the Christie government, Fred Mitchell carries on like he's the prime minister. Okay, that's just the text there. Okay, well, okay, thank you. This one says here, we need to stop this attack on men. Oh boy, everywhere I go to get help with food, women are in charge, and they say that they only help single mothers. I am tired of the hypocrisy.
Do not attack the men. They're not our enemy.
Where do you go, Texter? Where are you going? I mean, you're talking about like food assistance, like a food bank type thing, or a shelter, and they're telling you they only help single women. You're probably going to the wrong places. But that's unfortunate. Okay, I don't know if it's an attack on men, but you're just going to the wrong places. Wow. Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
I wonder if you read the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. You know, Fred Mitchell is asking the licensees not to get involved in the arguments between the Port Authority and the government.
No, he says don't allow yourself to be used.
But you cannot exclude the licensee from out of the discussion, because the licensee is the third party in the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. Mm-hmm. It's the Port Authority, the government, and the licensee. So you cannot exclude, or you cannot involve the licensee.
Yeah, he's not saying not to. He just says make sure you're not being used.
But to me, his statement doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think Fred is completely out of touch, and I think he needs to step back. If there's any involvement from the government, it should be the Minister of Grand Number. I don't see where Fred get off even comment on the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. Where's the Minister of Grand Number? Or where's the Prime Minister? Or where's the Minister of Finance? Why is Fred Mitchell involving himself in this? And leave Grand Mama alone. Leave the Port Authority alone. This is something for the Minister of Grand Mama, not him. I don't know where you get off on that.
No, you're right. People are wondering what that's all about, why he is the mouthpiece for this. That is a very interesting question, and we still don't really have any answers. We don't know if he's speaking as the PLP chairman, which is also odd. We don't know if he's speaking as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, which is just completely bizarre.
We don't know if he's making personal statements.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. You know, because, like I say, he's completely out of touch. His statements are completely off the radar, and it's just completely out of whack.
Yeah.
Again, where's the Minister of Grand Mama? Why is he even involved in this? I mean, I'm sure we got foreign affairs issues. We got an issue with 80. Leave it that.
Okay.
Leave Grand Mama alone, man.
All right. Thank you very much. Interesting comments. Appreciate it. Minister Grand Mama. What does the Minister of Grand Mama do, Laverne? You don't have to answer it. That's fine. That was rhetorical.
Don't answer?
Well, I mean, is there an answer? Okay. Is there an answer? Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
There is.
Good morning to Laverne.
Hi, good morning.
Laverne, you're going to be center stage after the meeting because we all want to know exactly what's going on with Grand Bahama. We have a Minister of Foreign Affairs who should be about foreign policy, but he's just trying to pin us against them, and this is what the politicians do. They have their followers. They divert the attention away from all of the pertinent issues, and now this one, he wants to bring this up and regurgitate this for over and over. And we don't know in New Providence, at least I don't know, that Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. What I do know is I grew up in Pindus Point, visited there not too long ago, and all I smelled was oil. So they need to fix all of Grand Bahama and let the port do the port's job. So, Laverne, we're looking forward to what you have to say after you attend the meeting. And, Dwight, you think this local government ever going to happen? How do we push this and force this, man?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I mean, I would think that if more people talk about it, perhaps, but the people just don't seem to understand the
because of all this diversion. You see, the clouding, clutter of any kind of prosperity. They just clutter you with all these ideas. But look, why can't we know exactly what the deal is with the Port Authority? Now, I simply know that if I were to buy a car and I live in Grand Bahama, I can drive it around in Grand Bahama. I don't have to pay duty, and when I drive it outside of Grand Bahama, I could be charged duty. Is that the way that works?
No, right, Laverne? That's not that simple. No, it's the port area. So if you end up in West End, you'd have an issue, right, Laverne?
Only if you have what is called a bonded vehicle. You have a company bond. You bring your vehicle in. Your vehicle primarily that you bring in under that bond should be for your business purposes. If you have that bond and then you get your vehicle, let's say it's your company vehicle, because that's what really it's for. That's one of your benefits of being a licensee, right? Of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. You then are allowed to bring in that company vehicle.
Not personal vehicle.
How can you go in that?
Personal vehicle.
Boy, I know some people who break into left, right, and center.
Well, of course, there's always an abuse of, right? However, you cannot, if you go into non-bonded areas, primarily the eastern and western part of the islands, which the government has responsibility for, you cannot drive that vehicle in those areas.
Thank you for taking my call.
It's a violation of the term.
Yeah, I see some riding around here until they realize it, and then they change the plates. I see some riding around here with bonded vehicle plate on it in New Providence. How's that? Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
All right. Now, I think I can't speak for sure, but I know some people in the past who had bonded vehicles here. I'm not sure how that worked. I think that, again, for like you said, that was for work. I don't know. I haven't seen it recently, but again, it might have been a work thing, right? So I don't know. But as you heard, you can't just drive that all over Grand Bahama for fun.
No.
Okay.
And it's not just supposed to be your personal company.
But to his question about why it's not going to happen, I think some people are very afraid of if there is local government and true local government, right? The people who might be able to get the public to vote for them to positions of leadership, like perhaps an island governor or premier, whatever you want to call it, or to a mayor or something like that. I think some people are very afraid of.
Like we said, I've said a million times about this, Dwight. It really comes down to power, right? Those who have it, those who enjoy it, those who can use it, and those who fear losing it.
Yeah, because I'm saying, can you imagine if some little kid just out of college becomes the mayor of the area that is downtown Nassau? How terrifying that could be to some of the business owners in the area if their views don't align with each other. All right?
Think about it.
Think about that.
Think about, and using that same analogy, think about the reactions you hear when perhaps there is someone who maybe has aspirations in politics and they are young. Oh, he's too young. He don't have any experience. We already hear comments like that, right? Or they have to wait their turn. I don't really understand what that means, but okay. So if you think about the way sometimes we react or the things that we say, just even about that, what your scenario, we can't even comprehend that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take this other call and we'll get to these text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Ms. Gardner. I hope you're doing well.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Dwight, and when I think that the politicians feel like the Grand Bahamians can't take the truth, so they come up with these innuendos and they go around the truth. You remember when the Prime Minister went to the court of Prince Charles? How long has it been? When was that? That was in June? Was it there?
Earlier this year, yeah.
Earlier this year. And he said that the China Exim Bank had made available to the Bahamas $1 billion, right? And that they were going to draw down $200 million of that to facilitate the development of the airport in Grand Bahama. Prior to that, the DPM was down there saying that they had formed a private PPI, whatever it is, with this company out of the UK to build the airport, right? And from then to now, until you ask him the other day there about the airport, we haven't heard anything about what transpired, whether they were able to access this, to access the $200 million or whatnot. Just come and tell the people what is going on. The Bible says just to speak the truth in love, man. These people can take it, whatever it is, they're already been through enough. Let the people know exactly what is going on. And like the young people say, stop airbagging the people, man. Let the people know so they can know where we are going. Okay? Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. This texter here says, Mitchell is a member of parliament in the cabinet, a Bahamian who has the right to speak on anything. Why is Dr. Sand speaking? Tell your F&M callers to sit small. All right, well, that caller was just saying it's surprising that the Foreign Affairs Minister goes to the Grand Bahama Minister or the Minister of Finance or somebody else that would make more sense than the Foreign Affairs Minister if he is speaking as a cabinet minister here, as opposed to the party chairman or a Fox Hill MP. So that's all they're saying. But I get your point as well. This person says here, Grand Bahama is paying the price for the inequity regarding the gay cruise. What? What now? Abaco still hasn't learned from the punishment it received. Nassau will be next. If God spares these places, he holds Sodom, I think they're trying to say, and Gomorrah an apology. Oh, Lord of mercy. Okay, I think that's the wildest, weirdest text we've had in a while. Punishment for gay cruises? Laverne? Oh, God.
No comment.
Well, I just... gay cruises? Well, so what about all the other... Anyway, so we're about to be destroyed then, because it's not just the places. It's count your days, Bahamians, because cruises, that's the smallest issue you have to deal with. Well, tell your loved ones you love them, because the end is near. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And I think to your other lady, is it Palm?
It's Laverne Gardner.
Laverne.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Dwight, my take on the this Grand Bahama situation is that, one, this PLP administration has sort of made up its mind. It's going to go after the Port Authority for whatever reason. I think they would like to see this old arrangement, Oxbow Creek Agreement, either be revised or perhaps, canceled. That's how I see it. Because there's no happy ending if they continue on this particular route, right? And then some folks are commenting as to why Fred Mitchell seems to be the point person. And that's obvious. I mean, Fred Mitchell is the senior member of the PLP, a cabinet minister in this PLP administration. And he's very articulate. We know that Prime Minister Brave Davis likes to allow things to burn for a while before he steps in, as the big prime minister and sort of like make himself look very statesmanship and then try to add some calm to various controversial issues since this administration has come into office. I can't name any of them right off the top, but I've seen that trend by him, okay? And also the issue of why Ms. Ginger Moxie, the minister, just a minister of state in the prime minister's office, she is relatively a rookie member of parliament and member of the cabinet, junior member of the cabinet. So I don't think.
We aren't talking about her specifically. I mean, has there ever been a minister of Grand Bahama since we started this that has done anything for Grand Bahama. So we're talking about the office itself. What is it all about?
I agree. No, but someone was asking why isn't she speaking on it? And I don't think the government want her at a level to be the point person on such an important matter.
So there we go back to why are we doing this? Why are we wasting money on positions where people can't speak?
Why are we creating those positions?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
Well, it's obvious.
What is the point?
I mean, the various administrations come in to keep all of their members, to reduce the backbench and put as many members in cabinet as possible. So they create as less internal conflict, because the backbenchers are usually the ones that sometimes challenge the government.
Absolutely.
We've seen that with Dr. Rollins and all those others, McAlpine.
That's right.
So they're the ones that kind of help to put the government's feet to the fire. So these prime ministers, they're afraid of that internal opposition.
So what are we going to do about it? We're just going to sit back and allow them to do that?
Well, I mean, we vote them in, and then there's very little we could do. They have power to govern for 5 years. The problem is the Bahamian people need to stop being so laid back. And when we don't like the way things are operating, we just have to demonstrate.
Yeah.
And politicians pay attention to demonstration. I mean, peacefully. Okay, we just have to ourselves be more proactive as citizens, as voters, and stop being so laid back and just complaining. I mean, we need to take action if there's something we don't like. Like I say, I'm not so sure where the PLP is going with this. It seems that they're on a course of conflict, of clashing with the Port Authority for whatever reason. And why Fred Mitchell is the point person, I think he's the chairman of the party that, like you say, shouldn't have anything to do with the government. But then he's a senior cabinet minister, a very experienced politician. Yes, he's in foreign affairs, so that's kind of awkward. But, in the Bahamas, we do a lot of awkward things here.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a nice day.
You too. All right.
So, Dwight, do we have another caller?
No, just a few text messages before we take a break.
Okay, I just wanted to share some information with you so that we could know and understand the office of the Ministry of Grand Bahama, as is stated on the Bahamas government website. So, of course, it goes into preamble when it was established. To bridge the gap between all the associated government ministries on the island and its stakeholders in order to bring the synergy and organization required to change the direction in which Grand Bahama was headed and to deliver relief needed by residents from the east to west, Grand Bahama, to restore prosperity. However, I just wanted to point out this. The first thing it says, the government of the Bahamas has assigned a number of important mandates to the Ministry for Grand Bahama, which includes but are not limited to advancing government relations between the Grand Bahama Port Authority, extension of duty-free concessions to East and West Grand Bahama, the promotion of agriculture development in Grand Bahama, social services for Grand Bahama, environmental protection for Grand Bahama, the revitalization and promotion of Grand Bahama as a tourism and industrial center. We're also apparently the entertainment hub with a marine.
The who?
Thing, listen, every time I listen with something else, but whatever. The promotion of employment and entrepreneurial opportunities in Grand Bahama, and infrastructure in liaison with the relevant ministries, Operation Flush, urban development, community relocation of residents of Flinders Point, Lewis Yard Hunters, Marktown, training and retraining the workforce on Grand Bahama.
Interesting. So let me ask you a question.
There you go.
Let me ask a question to you and all the Bahamian people. So why doesn't every island in this country have a ministry? What's that about? Does that make sense?
Doesn't, but okay, that is what the mandate is. Personally, I think that, and I'm not saying, I'm not going to say, I'm not speaking
if you believe that that's what's happening.
Right. I'm not going to speak to anybody's performance as minister. I'm not here for that. But what I am going to say is that I feel personally as if this was just, at the time, this was around election time and some things were put out there. And if we are elected, we are going to form a ministry for Grand Bahama. And that sounded really great to the people because people thought in Grand Bahama, if we have a ministry of Grand Bahama, we would see whatever.
Well, this is the third executive minister, Ministry of Grand Bahama.
That is very correct.
Grand Bahama is, would you agree, as bad off now as it was when this ministry was first established, correct?
Yeah.
Maybe worse.
I would agree.
Much worse. So what is the point? This is ridiculous.
You want me to read the point again?
No. Because I didn't know whether to laugh or yawn. But at this point, let's read a couple messages.
Well, I just wanted to, let you know, and so that we both know and understand what the role is for the Ministry for Grand Bahama. According to the Bahamas government website.
Yes. I can't tell you one significant thing that's happened by any. We've had this was established under the Christie administration. We had it again under the Minnis administration. Here we are again under the Davis administration. Ministers of Grand Bahama. What do they do? What do they do? What happens? Anyway, somebody's messaging about the man who said when he goes to receive services and he's turned away because they only want to help singles. It says, but he has money for a cell phone to text you. Oh boy, you all are very, very, very harsh.
Yeah.
This person says here, oh boy, Fred Mitchell needs to plan his retirement and go home. Oh dear. Kwesi Thompson was Minister of Grand Bahama too, but F&M's thought it was a good thing. Well, they could have thought that, but we know nothing happened. We all know this. Another one says here, Minister of Grand Bahama is nothing more than a PR position for the government. The minister has no teeth and needs to ask the substantive minister for any matter that has to be addressed. Another one here, Grand Bahamians, business owners, and homeowners are not complaining about the Port Authority. Only people outside of Grand Bahama are complaining. Well, you might not be complaining. Incorrect. Right. And plus, that's incorrect. Okay. Mm-hmm.
That is incorrect.
And they're all complaining about the state of Grand Bahama, aren't they? Everybody on the island, outside the island.
Licensees of the port are complaining. People in the port, at Freeport, and the Ukiah area complain, as well as those who live in the eastern and western part of the island.
Yeah.
So, Texter, that is incorrect.
Yeah. This one says the government needs to leave Grand Bahama alone. We do not need them to go in and destroy what has worked. Enhance it. Work with the Port Authority, but we do not need an Iraq scenario. Go in, destroy, and then leave. How do we get to the point where each position has a job performance metric with measurable KPIs that they can each be voted out on? Digital voting would be implored to make it efficient by a sample of the population. You know what that sounds like to me, Dexter? It sounds like local government. That's how that works, right? You vote for the people who are your leaders, and you vote them out where they don't work, right? So how about you make Grand Bahama a semi-autonomous state, have the people elect a governor or premier, if you prefer, and you have cities, areas where they are elected, like the Port Authority. Every position at the Port Authority should be an elected position. The president or whatever should be a mayor. If you like what the mayor has to say, vote for that person. If you don't, vote them out. How about that? That's what it sounds like you're saying. That's how it works in almost every single country in the entire world. But this person says, I was the biggest advocate for Grand Bahama, but considering they are facing multiple economic issues for multiple years, we just need... Oh, here we go again. We just need to sell or lease the island and stop joking around. And every time someone says this, I say, and what about the people? You want to sell and lease them too? Is that what you're suggesting? What are you saying? I mean, you all really think that's a sensible thing to say, isn't it? Like, what do you think this is? A private key? Offensive. A private key?
We're not Bahamians?
No.
Are we not Bahamians?
Clearly, it's a private key. K-E-Y, I guess. That's how you all must spell it up there. Let's go to the break. This will annoy the previous texter who's wondering why we're always talking about women. Boy, I tell you. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor, and no one's ever gonna keep me down again. Yes, I'm wise, but it's wisdom born of pain. Yes, I paid the price, but look how much I can do anything. I am strong, I am woman.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. A federal judge says Texas must move a large floating barrier on the river between the U.S. and Mexico. The wrecking ball-sized buoys on the Rio Grande are intended to stop migrants from crossing into the U.S. A request from the Pennsylvania State Police to residents as the search continues for that convicted killer, Danilo Cavalcante, who escaped from a suburban Philadelphia jail yard. Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens with the Pennsylvania State Police.
We ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more. It is important that we keep pressure on him as we continue the hunt.
Moscow says overnight 5 drones got shot down over Russia. One targeted Moscow, it says. Russia launched air attacks on Ukraine's port city of Ismail. 1 person injured. I'm Rita Foley.
Get your first look at traffic in, brought to you by RBC. Start your home journey with an RBC mortgage today. In your real-time traffic, another busy day for you. We've got heavy traffic in a number of areas. We've got Mile Butler Highway from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tawny Gordon's Darling Highway in the northbound lanes. They're not looking good for you at all. Fire Trail backed up as well. Glaston Road is going to be a better alternate route for you, but as you get closer to Munnings Road, you're going to see that heavy traffic in the northbound lanes. At the Six-Legged Roundabout, we've got some traffic at JFK Drive eastbound. And then further north on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach, heavy traffic eastbound toward the roundabout with New Providence Highway. And then again on West Bay, as you approach Arundel Street, you're going to see some heavy traffic there. Independence Drive looking terrible for you, both directions, east and westbound between the roundabouts. Blue Hill Road, busy near Carmichael, and north of Soldier on the way to the roundabout with Independence Drive. Then we've got Soldier Road near Old Trail and Windsor Place. That area just looking congested. And Robinson between Old Trail and Soldier. Heavy traffic there, westbound. And Soldier northbound to Wolf Village and Bernard Road. Just not a place you'd want to be this morning. Bernard Road also bad near the schools. Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections, and Eastern Road well east of San Souci straight up to Johnson Road. Not looking good for you at all. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic report brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with RBC today. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after the news here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor, and no one's ever gonna keep me down again. Yes, I'm wise, but it's wisdom born of pain. Yes, I paid the price, but look how much I gained if I had to.
This is Guardian Radio 96.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. And now at 8:17, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years, is the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. Okay, we've got a lot going on weather-wise. We've got light winds and stable conditions that will continue across the northwest and central Bahamas today, while some shower activity will continue over portions of the southeast Bahamas due to lingering troughing. But we've got a number of warnings due to the approaching Hurricane Lee, which is expected to come very near to the Bahamas. We'll get the details about that in just a bit. That's going to be just east of the islands. And as a result, mariners and beachgoers should exercise extreme caution due to rough surf and lingering swells along Atlantic exposures. Mariners should plan to remain in port, and beachgoers strongly advised to refrain from entering life-threatening conditions that will impact the Bahamas by this weekend, Sunday specifically. And motorists should avoid traveling along coastal roads due to sea spray and overtopping waves, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera by late Sunday. All right, so for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, your forecast, mostly sunny, very warm, the chance of isolated showers becoming fair and warm tonight. Small craft should exercise caution due to swells. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly cloudy with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Small craft should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in showers and thunderstorms. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. But the heat index, while not in the triple digits, is going to feel like it is. It's going to feel like it's 99 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, light winds and stable conditions will continue across the northwest Bahamas, while some unsettled weather will drift across the central and southeastern islands. Beachgoers and mariners should prepare to remain out of the water beginning Sunday due to the life-threatening sea conditions that could be possible passing just to the east of the islands. Okay, so for Friday, tomorrow, variably cloudy and warm with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Saturday, variably cloudy and warm with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Now, we'll get to Lee in a second, but we're also watching a broad area of low pressure over the far eastern Atlantic. That has about an 80% chance of cyclone formation through the next 7 days. And shower and thunderstorm activity associated with post-tropical cyclone Franklin, located a few hundred miles west-northwest of the northwestern coast of Spain, has about a 20% chance of reformation through the next 7 days. But everybody is focused on Hurricane Lee, now over the central tropical Atlantic, and everybody in the Bahamas should continue to monitor advisories on this system. It is growing and getting stronger hourly, it seems. Now, Hurricane Lee is forecast to rapidly strengthen, large swells likely to reach the Lesser Antilles and the Virgin Islands of Puerto Rico by the weekend. As of 5 o'clock, Lee was about 985 miles from the Leeward Islands. Lee is moving toward the west-northwest near 14 miles per hour, and this motion is expected to continue through Friday. Maximum sustained winds are near 80 miles per hour, with higher gusts, and rapid intensification is expected to begin later today. Lee is forecast to become a major hurricane by early Friday, and we're thinking even Category 4. So everybody in the Bahamas should continue to monitor the progress of the system, as while it might not come directly to the Bahamas, it'll be so close that seas will be negatively impacted beginning late Sunday. So again, boaters, do not venture far from port by Sunday. Don't venture far from port after Sunday. So we will continue to monitor the system for you. Again, expected to pass very close to the Bahamas. by this weekend and early into next week. That is your morning blend weather check. Weather check also brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Are you shopping for a new car? Before you decide, compare. Easy Car Sales invites you to try an electric vehicle. Experience the power, the smooth, quiet ride. Find out how you can dump the gas pump and save thousands of dollars a year in fuel and maintenance costs. Take a test to win a tablet every week. Drop into Easy Car Sales on Glaston Road or visit easy242.com to find out more. Time for another check of your traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Start your home journey with an RBC mortgage today. In your real-time traffic, let's start from east to west. In New Providence, we got Eastern Road, heavy traffic, and traffic's backed up quite far from San Souci to about Johnson Road. And there's a long line at Foxville Road northbound trying to get onto Eastern Road as well. If you can, you might want to turn around and try another route, maybe Prince Charles Drive. It should be smooth sailing for you on Prince Charles until you get to about Beatrice Avenue. Then it gets busy if you're heading westbound. And then the closer you get to Soldier Road, it is not looking good. From Soldier straight through where we are now, Robinson, straight through to Marathon and East-West Highway. Heavy traffic, especially as a result of the intersection at Old Trail. Old Trail also busy for you northbound and near Soldier Road. Soldier Road looking terrible from basically East Street straight through to Windsor and Old Trail and Taylor Street, straight on past the intersection with Prince Charles and all the way through to Village Road. Just not a pleasant place to be this morning. Marathon also busy for you northbound. Then there's Independence Drive, both directions, but right now mainly eastbound between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road also busy for you near St. Vincent Road, Carmichael, and the intersection with, well, the roundabout with Independence Drive. Straight through the highway, as usual, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and even on to the six-legged roundabout. We've got issues there northbound and eastbound on JFK Drive. And further south on Mother Highway near Carmichael and the Faith Avenue Junction, that area is looking busy. Cowpen Road east to Faith Avenue, also heavy traffic there. Zion Boulevard between Blue Hill and East Street, congested both directions as well. Glass Road looking pretty good for you, though. And Carmichael westbound, busy on the way to Coral Harbor Road. West Bay Street eastbound to the New Providence Highway or near Saunders Beach, heavy traffic there as well. So a lot of issues out there. Good morning to you. Good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take60seconds to connect with RBC today.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take60seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, that's no more.
Calling all junior and senior high school students, you could win a brand new iPad for the new school year. Enter the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition. All you have to do is write a strong and convincing essay on the topic, what does going digital mean to you? For junior high students, your word limit is 1,000 words. For senior high students, your word limit is 1,500 words. To enter, email your essay along with your name, school, and grade level, as well as your parents' contact information to alpha@platoalpha.com by Friday, September 22nd. The winners will be announced on Guardian Radio on September 29th. The winner for each category walks away with a brand new iPad. It's the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition, powered by Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
It's your back-to-school grow with Scotiabank. Use any Scotiabank credit card to purchase any back-to-school items valuing $150 and over, and you could be one of 3 lucky winners of $1,500. That's up to $4,500 in cash back for you to win your share when you buy books, uniforms, shoes, laptops, tablets, phones, and other accessories for back-to-school using your Scotiabank credit card. Visit bs.scotiabank.com for more information. Promotion ends September 3rd.
And Marketing presents Becoming, a transformative Women's Empowerment Summit that will take place on September 24th at the National Training Agency located on Gladstone Road at 3 p.m. Phenomenal speakers include DeQuesta Dean, Simone Bowe, Shirley Pinder, Marissa Mason-Smith, and Dr. Nyambi Campbell-Dean. Not to mention a flaunted fashion show segment hosted by Miss Phyllis Garraway. Tickets are $50 and can be purchased at the Nassau Guardian or Essence Med Spa, number 15 Bradley Street, Palmdale. Part proceeds will be donated to the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Atlantic Insurance Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
It's your back-to-school grow with Scotiabank. Use any Scotiabank credit card to purchase any back-to-school items valuing $150 and over, and you could be one of 3 lucky winners of $1,500. That's up to $4,500 in cash back for you to win your share when you buy books, uniforms, shoes, laptops, tablets, phones, and other accessories for back-to-school using your Scotiabank credit card. Visit bs.scotiabank.com for more information. Promotion ends September 3rd, 2023.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us. So call 396-1100, raising the standard since 1987.
We've been with you from the very start, leading the way and providing you with the best in primetime sporting experiences. From one goal to the next, you can count on us for full access to the best sports channels at home or on the go. Make Rev your only choice. Visit rev.bs. Every match, every game, every moment. Rev, your home for sports.
America completely run out of it.
Too many debt bills? Overdue on loan payments? Improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Shrink your debt payments with a debt consolidation loan and built-in savings that pays you 5% interest. Call 352-6676.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Are we on the air?
Yes, you are.
Oi. Hello, Mom.
Hi.
I'd like to hear a new beat on the request line.
Okay, you got it. When I was a rising star, West End was the place to go. Some never thought I would get this far. I thank the Lord I still got my show. Junior Wish could play that guitar. That boy could sing till he make you cry. Then even end up to the star, Austin Grant's place. Party till the morning light, and that's no lie. Sweet home, Grand Bahama. Music, please. Oh, I'm coming home to you. Music, please. Grand Bahama.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about International Literacy Day with Rotary, and International Literacy Day set for September 8th. That's tomorrow. So we'll get some details about that. All right, so just want to wrap up our conversation about Grand Bahama, what's happening there. There's these interesting comments that we keep hearing from Fred Mitchell about the Port Authority and what's happening there and what's not happening there. And get your reaction to all of it. And the comments that Chester Cooper made as well when he was on the show talking about Grand Bahama. And there's still the 3 interested parties in the Grand Lucayan, but no announcement will be made until the check clears. And the airport, that airport. How's that look now, Laverne? What's going on there? Is that still a hangar, really? What do we?
Yes, but we changed a bit. So all flights, well, for the exception of Western Air, because they have their own setup, all flights left from one building, but now there's a separation. And so where we used to have the domestic terminal, that was revamped. But primarily only Sunwing was using it. But now if you're boarding, having a non-U.S. flight, that is where you would leave from that section over there. And then all the U.S. flights are still leaving from what is like the other airport, the hangar. Yeah, that's the difference for right now. But, as I think a caller indicated, we got the announcement about the government and the money that they had secured, and which was curious at the time to all of us still, because we were like, well, why are you securing money for the airport in Grand Bahama when you already had these investors who, as we understood it, were ready in terms of their finances and everything. So why would you borrow money? But yeah. No construction or anything has started yet, if that's your question.
Right. Okay. Folks, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Text messages, someone says here, Minister of Grand Bahama was and is simply another post to create another opportunity for a member to collect a salary of a minister who does nothing for our economy. And this person says here, Dwight, let's face it, Bahamians love bad treatment because both parties say they have the solution, and when they get in, the same thing happens. These two parties are just playing Monopoly, pass, go, collect the money, and they go home. Oh, boy. All right, so when will the people say we've had enough of being, what are some of the pieces in Monopoly? Is there a horse? Yeah, they need to...
Is the horse the piece that you're really looking for?
Well, part of the horse, or a dog. I don't know. Is there a trash can? I don't know. When are we going to stop saying we're not taking this anymore? You're not saying the things. Well, you are saying things that we like, and then when we put you there, you don't even remember saying it. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not playing this game anymore. We've had 50 years of it. It's over. We don't win when on an island like Grand Bahama, you have the entire, one party has the entire island. It makes no difference. When it's split, it might as well be none of you. What difference does it make? What is going on? when are you going to realize, when are we going to wake up and say, okay, this isn't working? So either it's you, the people, or it's this system. I think it's a combination of both. But this system is not encouraging what we need for Grand Bahama or any island in this country. And we're going to continue to see what we've been seeing for 50 years, an exodus from all of these islands and everybody piling up on tiny little New Providence. Is that what we want? In 50 years, what will the population be? I don't know. Let's say 500,000. 499,000 living in New Providence and a couple people here and there on some big giant islands surrounding it. Yeah, if we aren't all underwater by then. Is that what it is? Okay, let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, boy, Dwight. Pardon my sister out of Grand Bahama. Only because I forget the name, so pardon me.
Laverne.
Hey, bless
Laverne.
Good. Listen, so on the Grand Bahama issue, I share similar sentiments that texter earlier said, which is it's just a post that they created to create jobs after their cronies and handled. And also we've seen the abuse that has occurred. Definitely under the PLP where someone actually went to court. We don't know what the matter is on that. And so we waste, for a small country, we continue to waste money. Then there's ministerial portfolio, so there's this power shot. They feel, oh, we got to give them power. And so almost all MPs have a cabinet position or some quasi-cabinet position. So this is really, and it's sad for us as a nation, that's what we continue to do. It's the same thing with construction and disaster. We have name and we still have to create a disaster and recovery agency. Then as far as the women, listen, I'm a strong advocate for men. I don't agree. I noticed that they took the measurement for the last 10 years. They didn't say within the last 5 years. They said 10 years. So they're using data over a period of 10 years. What could have changed in 10 years?
What are we talking about?
I don't believe it. When you look at the permanent secretary, I work in government, and most of the permanent secretaries are women. And they continue in leadership, they continue to push that. Very few men are permanent secretaries or getting those positions. And so I don't buy it. Most of the women who in public service, most of the leaders in the public service are women. And a lot of and I don't buy that. I believe women have just as much intelligence, can lead and all that. So I don't agree, and I think most men don't agree that with this finding. I don't know where they get that from. I think it's being pushed as an agenda to continue to undermine what maybe we are as a nation. Maybe they're saying we're not doing enough, but I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I believe that women have accomplished a lot.
All right, so
now, they might be talking about politicians. You know, in politics, you don't have a lot of women. Okay, I get that. So maybe they should have just said that and say, you know what, in the political arena, this is the case.
Okay, so they did say that.
I don't hear what happening globally. Tell me what happened in the Bahamas.
But no, there are issues here too. There are issues here, and they are right. So the politics thing is a big thing. Women.
But let me lastly then. Mm-hmm. So tell me then. I would like for someone, even if it's not you or someone, to please tell me where women are being prejudiced against or not being treated fairly. As a matter of fact, I think the men. We need to have men rights now because men are not getting enough push. Men are struggling. Men have issues, alcohol, drugs. And the vast majority of men, we need to now maybe focus on that. Well, you know, I think now there's a big push. I have a daughter, so don't tell me, I have a wife, been married for 20-something years. And my wife has a higher degree than me. And she, but listen, and the home I'm the man, but if it was on a job, she would be my boss. And I accept that. So God bless and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, thanks a lot. All right, so I can answer those questions. So yes, there are constitutional issues in the country where men and women have different rights, and so that is in the modern world not how things are supposed to be. So people in the Bahamas don't agree on that. There's a lot of people, not everybody though, but generally you want to have the same rights regardless of your gender. That's the 21st century thinking. So that's an issue. And you're right. Those men are having lots of issues, but nobody's stopping people, especially men, from coming together and forming the groups that are going to help the men to deal with those issues. Who do you think is going to do that? What do you want? Who's supposed to do that? Do you want what? The government? Do you want the women? Start it. Do it. That's what the women did. Well, nobody's holding you back.
Would be correct.
All right. But yeah, this is a global report.
So Dwight lead the charge for the men. And I'm not being facetious with that. But certainly, like you said,
Yeah, it's a global report. But there are issues.
It is.
So Wilshcom, the social services minister, is saying that the Bahamas is going to be up there in the forefront leading the fight for global women's rights. Now, so that's what.
So let's just keep that in mind. That is not a report.
Right. Not about the Bahamas.
Report originated in the Bahamas. That is a global report. They're saying overall worldwide, and the minister was just speaking to it and saying he accepts the report, and that we're gonna be doing whatever we can on our side.
That's right.
It's not particular just to the Bahamas.
Right. Okay. This person says here, with Monopoly, we should be the boot Monopoly piece, or they need a new piece, the conch. Okay. And this texter says, those of us wanting better need to demand debates to better vet these characters that pretend to have a plan but are a minority. I think I'm reading this wrong, but anyway. Just as you advocate for local government daily, Dwight, we need to call for debates on a daily basis to let it sink into the Bahamian mindset. Politicians hear nothing more than having to defend what they're saying. This is the way debates before any election for public office, no exceptions. I agree with you totally. I totally support that, right? Because there's no way 2 years into an administration we should be finding out from the social services state minister that the social services minister of state. The social services? You need to know that before. You need to know that before. And many other things. But anyway, this is how some of y'all like it. Clearly. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to change gears. We're going to be talking about International Literacy Day, September 8th. That's tomorrow. We're going to get all the details about that, how Rotary plans to commemorate the day. That's when we return. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Some never thought I would get this far. I thank the Lord I still got my show. Junior Wish could play that guitar. That boy could sing till he make me cry. Then even end up to the star, Austin Grant's place.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Hey guys, I got a joke for you. What did one ocean say to the other?
I don't know.
Nothing. It just waved.
I don't get it.
An ocean? It waves to another ocean.
Oceans can't wave. They don't have hands.
What?
How would they even see each other? They don't have eyes either.
Seriously, how are you not getting this?
Oceans aren't even alive. Nothing you said makes sense.
With most claims paid within a few days, we're like a friend that doesn't. Good like that.
It's your back-to-school grow with Scotiabank. Use any Scotiabank credit card to purchase any back-to-school items valuing $150 and over, and you could be one of 3 lucky winners of $1,500. That's up to $4,500 in cash back for you to win your share when you buy books, uniforms, shoes, laptops, tablets, phones, and other accessories for back to school using your Scotiabank credit card. Visit bs.scotiabank.com for more information. Promotion ends September 3rd, 2023.
Calling all junior and senior high school students, you could win a brand new iPad for the new school year. Enter the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition. All you have to do is write a strong and convincing essay on the topic, what does going digital mean to you? For junior high students, your word limit is 1,000 words. For senior high students, your word limit is 1,500 words. To enter, email your essay along with your name, school, and grade level, as well as your parents' contact information to alpha@platoalpha.com by Friday, September 22nd. The winners will be announced on Guardian Radio on September 29th. The winner for each category walks away with a brand new iPad. It's the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition, powered by Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Ready to save? Under the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wherever you are in the world, Cleveland Clinic's world-class care is here for you. From Ohio to Florida to London, Cleveland Clinic patients every year, ranked number 2 in the world by Newsweek. You can trust our caregivers to enhance your experience across each step of your treatment journey. For every care in the world, learn more at clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-1697 for further details.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we're getting ready for Internet, which is September 8th. That's tomorrow. And today, Rotary Club of South Ocean is here to tell us all about it. Very pleased to welcome Indira Thompson and Caitlin Thompson. Good to have you both with us. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so give us a little bit of information about the Rotary Club of South Ocean. How many members do you all have? What can you tell us about the group?
Okay, well, the Rotary Club of South Ocean, just to give you a little background on us, the club was formed during the pandemic.
Oh.
Our initial meetings were all virtual. and we were chartered in February of 2021. Our charter
That
president
just happened? That was a coincidence that happened during the pandemic, or this was like born out of the pandemic? Like, you know what we should do?
We're home and board, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, there was a little discussion prior to the pandemic. Then
okay.
the pandemic happened, and we continued. We forged forward through it all.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how many members
Yeah,
yet?
we have presently 71 active members of the diverse professions in our club.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so International Literacy Day. You all are talking about it. Sadly, not a lot of other people are talking about it. But so tell us about why it's important to Rotary Club of South Ocean.
Well, the main reason I'm here this morning is to discuss that with you. It's important to us because all persons should be able to read. And tomorrow, Friday, the 8th of September, the Literacy Committee of the Rotary Club of South Ocean will conduct a reading initiative at the Mary Ingram Care Center for Senior Citizens. We will not only read to the senior citizens there, the residents there, but we will also the residents at the home. We believe that reading is fundamental, and it's very important for everyone to learn to read, children and adults.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's wonderful stuff. This is the first time you're doing this, or have you done it before?
No, we've done reading initiatives every year. We have the month of September, as you know, is literacy month. In Rotary, it's basic education and literacy month. Each year, we do different reading activities. For example, last year, we did Read Across the Bahamas, which was a virtual event where schools from many of the islands in the Bahamas, if not all, I think all of the islands in the Bahamas took part in this event, which became much bigger than we had expected and extended longer than we had expected for the event. So we had students in Crooked Island reading and singing and performing online, and other schools throughout the Bahamas were able to join in with this.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. Excellent stuff. So Caitlin's going to do something special for us today. What are you going to be doing, Caitlin?
So I have two poems that I brought from home. The first one is by Ernestia Fraser, and the second one is by Dennis Dames. I'm going to be reading them, and I hope you enjoy them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Let's do it.
Okay. First poem, Tourism 1, A Guide to Bahamians, by Ernestia Fraser. We Bahamians know laughter, and we know kind medicine. We know dance, and we know fighting rhythm. We know warmth, and we know fire. And we know the difference between both. We know St. Mary, and we know cathedrals. We know God and His Holy Mother, the electric. We know the right of running through church aisles, because sometimes running saves our lives. We are good at smiling, and we try to mean it on most occasions. We love summer, but we don't like the heat. We know hard work despite our lackadaisical attention. We love feeling free, but sometimes don't know how to govern our own minds. Yet we are proud. We are yellow, black, and blue. We are our ancestors, their curses, and their blessings. We are giant bodies of salt heading towards the sea. We are the sand and the coral, and the mighty harbor. We are the land and the foliage, and the tropical green. We are powerful dreams that we sometimes forget. We are old songs, the music between the rake and the scrape. We are naked creatures, desperately marching hand in hand among the bushes, heading toward any opening of light.
Wow, that's beautiful. What's the name of the author again?
Ernestia Fraser.
What made you decide to read that one today?
There was, I don't know, there were like many poems that were selected for me to read, but I chose this one because it fit me and my reading style more. Because other poems had like a certain type of tempo that I wasn't used to. And why I chose this one, because it had a lot of things that really for me, meant the Bahamas. Like, we know dance and we know fighting rhythm. We have Junkanoo things, so that's what I thought meant dance. Yeah.
Yeah. Indira?
Yes. And persons may notice the theme here in the poems. Caitlin has another poem that she will read later on. 50th year of independence. We also chose readings by Bahamian authors.
Okay.
We wanted to focus on our Bahamian authors because they do great work, and we felt that they should be recognized.
Yeah.
So we
Excellent.
thank the authors also for writing the poems and allowing us to read them on the air.
Right. And again, this one is called,
Tourism 1, A Guide to Bahamians.
Okay, excellent. All right. And the next one?
The second one I have to read is called Getaway by Dennis Dames. Can I begin?
Yes.
Okay. Getaway. Sitting on the seashore. What was I thinking before? No thoughts to remember, no visions to consider. Time has moved hither. No worries recorded, and no world to consider. Where was I all the while? No one will ever know. The secret has been lost. The world before me comes alive, living again among the jive. Seeing life in full color, the challenge of living is revived. Courage and strength now I feel. It's good to leave this world sometimes. Turning back recharges the mind.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Getting compliments on your reading style. Someone says you read very well.
Thank
you might have
you.
a future in broadcasting. You should think about it. Yeah? Okay. Are you thinking about it?
Thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. We need you, Caitlin. Come on in. Indira, so again, what are you hoping to achieve? What do you hope is the overall goal here? What do you hope comes out of this, this year especially?
Yes, well, we hope that more people would be encouraged to read, children and adults, that adults would encourage, parents would encourage their children to read a day. Reading takes you on a journey to different countries. You learn about other people, places. You can learn so much from reading. Yeah. I'm sorry, I did not read a lot when I was younger. So it's very important. And watching Caitlin grow and mature, I see the importance of reading.
Yeah. You're making up for it now, though.
Well, yes, a little bit. Yes.
It's still time.
Yes. I just made set a goal, and it's still a little small, just yesterday, to read at least 2 books per month. And I am hoping to increase that to eventually be 4 books per month, and maybe 5 books per month, and grow that.
Excellent.
Yes, to grow myself and my country, which is foremost.
Absolutely. All right, so if people are interested in being a part of the initiative or want to be part of Rotary Club of South Ocean, what should they do?
Okay, so we have events coming up that they can join us. They can follow us on the Facebook on Rotary Club of South Ocean. We could contact the studio, and our contacts are left here at the studio if someone is interested in joining the Rotary Club of South Ocean or any other Rotary Club. There are 10 Rotary clubs in the Bahamas and 2 satellite clubs. There are also clubs for students. So there's we have the Rotaract for the younger members. We have Interact clubs. Right? So it's not only for adults, and it's any profession you're in. Some people have the idea that it's for doctors, lawyers, accountants. Rotary Club is not. We're open to all professions.
Excellent.
We would love carpenters and plumbers, everyone to join us. Because when we do events, we have social events. We have a committee that reaches out, and for example, last year we restored park benches in Adelaide Village. So we use the carpentry and painting skills of some of our members.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Right. And when we work in the blood drive, we have doctors in our club. We have, of course, accountants, but we use our expertise when we do our functions, our events.
To do good in the country. Wonderful stuff.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Happy International Literacy Day to both of you. You want to add
Yes,
something?
I want to add something. I wish they could see me. I'm keep pointing my finger to you and waving to get your attention. So We have additional reading activities throughout the month of September, and we would like our listeners to follow us on Facebook to find out those events. This coming Saturday, September 9th, at BCPOU Hall on Farrington Road, the Rotary Club of South Ocean, in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association, will host a seminar dubbed Care for the Caregiver's Mental Wellness. We encourage persons to join us. Registration is $5, and registration takes place at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The seminar goes from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. It's a 2-hour seminar. Come out to be refreshed and motivated. Part proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association. That's this Saturday, 9 a.m., BCPOU Hall, and there will be prizes and surprises.
So, beautiful stuff. Okay, you're doing great things. Indira Thompson.
Thank you.
Caitlin Thompson, thank you so much. And again, happy International Literacy Day.
Thank you. Read Bahamas. Let's read.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to take a break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business. We're talking with Doctors Hospital. That's after the break. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we are talking with Doctors Hospital. Always a lot of exciting things happening with Doctors Hospital. We've got the Go Pink initiative and Bridge to the Future programs. Here to tell us all about this, we welcome back to the show, Marketing Director Alexis Burrows. We've got a radiology technologist and lead mammographer, right, Manisha Roll, and from the blood bank supervisor, Brenzel Roll. Good to have you all back with us, some of you. Welcome for the first time. Good to have you all.
Great to be here.
All right, let's get everybody's mics up there. There we go. Okay, so Alexis, good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Let's talk. What's going on? It's a lot of initiatives.
Yeah, so
You're very busy.
You know, the Doctors Hospital keeps us very busy, and obviously we have a lot going on to talk about this morning. So one of the things that we came to talk about is our Go Pink initiative. And this is a promotion that we have going on, partly to promote mammography during having this event next week, Saturday, the 16th of September at Crypto Isle. For those of you who don't know what Crypto Isle is, it's the former Luciano's right there on East Bay Street. But essentially what we're doing is we're going to have scheduling for mammograms for ladies who are interested. We're going to have a blood drive, which Brenzel is going to talk about a little bit. And then we're also going to have health checks, so you can get your blood pressure checked. You could get your weight done, that sort of thing. We also have our LAMP team is going to be there, so you could sign up for our LAMP program in NHI. And then we also have one of the really cool things that we're doing is we're going to have local vendors. So if you think about things like jollification, where you have vendors come out and kind of selling their wares. So we're going to have local vendors that are all doctors' hospital staff. So people who have, tropical drinks, people who have different food items, that sort of thing, that will also be there selling some of their goods. So it's kind of an expo to some degree, right. That's really kind of covering, a lot of different areas of what we're doing in the hospitals. So I'll let Monisha kind of take over and talk a little bit more about it, because this is her brainchild. So just a quick background, we have a GLOW program within the hospital, and a Journey to Best program that's geared towards getting associates kind of encouraged as they go back into the work environment. And so Monisha was made a GLOW champion coming out of one of our cohorts.
It's called what? GLOW?
GLOW. Mm-hmm. And it stands for, GLOW stands for Growth, Learning, Outreach, and Wow. And so the initiative is called Journey to Best, and it's about just encouraging staff as they go back into the work environment. So coming out of that, we have GLOW champions that come out of each cohort. So Monisha is one of our GLOW champions, and what we do is we give them opportunities to have ideas that they can bring into the environment. So this entire initiative is actually her brainchild, with the support of the president and the rest of the hospital. So she can really go into a lot more detail about kind of her thoughts.
Okay, all right, Monisha. Go Pink Initiative.
Yes, good morning, everyone. The Go Pink Initiative is really and truly for us to raise awareness. Instead of having persons at the hospital, to take that fear away from actually being there, having to get needles drawn, we wanted to raise the awareness that the blood bank is desperately in need of blood, and also for mammograms. Mm-hmm. I am the lead mammographer there as well, so it's just making sure that we have females come in, know the importance of having the mammograms done. And the great thing about doing this year for the first time is the collaboration with my sorority as well, because I'm a part of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, the Kappa Delta Sigma chapter. So we have
you said that with a lot of attitude.
We have women's wellness programs. So we really focus a lot on women's health. And this is definitely something, especially because October is right around the corner, we want to make sure that women are coming out, they're aware of what's happening. And this was the perfect opportunity to really just do a real good collaboration, make it something fun, entertaining, and you still get the results that you want. The blood bank still gets the people to come in, and the mammographers are going to make sure that we get these people screened as much as possible. So it's really to just bring that collaboration out there, bring the awareness to the community, and get persons involved.
All right, so I want to find out more about the initiative in a bit, but tell us about women and their perception of mammograms. Are we still having a challenge getting people to get them done?
Yes, most definitely. The fear of the unknown is definitely something that we try to get persons to really think more about it. Certain things you can change. So having the mammogram done really increases your chances of knowing early in advance, because it is actually surprising that a lot of females don't do self-breast. So
what do you think that's about? Why do you think that's happening?
Because they're scared. A lot of persons are dying right now of breast cancer, and it's mainly because it's either in the family, and we don't talk about the family history a lot. So when you actually are doing the screening test, there are females who might have lumps and they try to ignore it because they know persons who have died before with breast cancer. So getting persons to really tap into the brush this aside and let me just see to make sure that I am good so I can teach somebody else.
So they're not doing the
Sorry,
self-exam
Dwight.
and not getting mammograms?
Yes.
I mean, this is a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
Well,
Laverne?
would you say good morning? Sorry, would you say though? I mean, and of course we're not seeing the numbers the way that we would like to see the numbers. But do you think in the last, let's say, 5 years, there has been an increase in women maybe coming in, or no, it's still pretty much the same? Especially because it appears that this is so prevalent in the Bahamas.
Well, right now I see that persons are actually increasing the awareness and coming out, and initiatives such as this is really helping persons to be more, yes ma'am, they're helping them to be more relaxed and knowing that they could trust someone to be like, okay, for instance, with the sorority, we have a buddy system. So the month of October, we make sure we bring a buddy in so that we are there with that person. We can't physically be in the room all the time. However, they just know that someone is there with them the entire step of the way. And it actually eases a lot of tension. So if every female in the Bahamas actually just bring one person with them to say, okay, this is something that is very important, especially those who usually do regular screenings, then it will definitely decrease our numbers.
Yeah, I would say, you know, to answer the question in terms of the last, during the pandemic years, so 2020, 2021,
right,
we would have seen a decrease in people coming in and getting mammograms, partially because, you know, especially in our environment, people were a little bit afraid to come into the hospital space. But I would say in the last, definitely in 2022, we saw a return to norm, especially during October, which is obviously Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You know, we've seen that those numbers start to tick back up. And I think this is not exclusive to Doctors Hospital. I think the healthcare industry in the country does a very good job of promoting and creating awareness. There's so many different initiatives that happen, you know, in September going into October. This is, you know, kind of just adding to that list. But I would say we're in a much better place from an educational standpoint, an awareness standpoint, and then from just providing people with opportunities. So last year, one of the things that we did was we actually brought in, I think, 100 women out of Grand Bahama to come down to New Providence to get their mammos done, because there wasn't anywhere on island in Grand Bahama to get the mammos done. Wow. So there's a lot of different things that are happening in that sort of space where, you know, a lot of effort and in a lot of ways a lot of money is being put behind trying to ensure that people are aware and they're getting their checks done, to the point where even for us, you know, we offer a 50% discount in October on mammography for self-paying patients, and if you're insured, when you come in, you pay nothing to get your mammo done. So, you know, we're trying to make that pathway to getting it done as easy as possible.
Yeah. How much is it generally?
Right. I don't know.
It's
if
roughly about 130.
130. Okay. Sorry, Laverne.
I don't know if you are aware, though, but there's a very good program in Grand Bahama. It's called MAP.
That was actually the group that we partnered with. So we actually partnered those ladies down.
So, they're really trying to get more women to come in and get that done, and to be able to have those discussions and talk about.
Yeah, and I don't think it's talking out of turn, but I do think that our goal, as we, you know, put more and more into the Grand Bahama space, that, you know, our goal is ultimately to be able to provide mammography on the ground in Grand Bahama as we move into the hospital that we're currently working on building in that space. You know, we have 2 clinics on the ground, so we are definitely we understand and we're interested in making sure that we can, you know, give people the ability to have their mammos done on the island they live on, right? So we're definitely, we hear you. And yeah.
So right now you still can't get a mammogram on Grand Bahama?
You can get a mammogram on Grand Bahama. You can, but, you know, it's difficult getting an appointment through the hospital, because, you know, it's backed up, or maybe their machine is down. And so, you know, there's another clinic that offers it, that women, just having another option would be greatly appreciated, because you don't want to have to, if this is something that you want to get done, you know, the feasibility of you having to travel to another island to get it done, well, that's going to increase the chances of maybe you putting it off and not doing it. And so to be able to have that other option. So I look forward to that. But is there another way that this can be done? Is a mammogram the only way? And I'm asking that because it becomes uncomfortable. I'm just being real. I do it, and I do it every year, but it is uncomfortable.
The mammogram is going to be just slightly uncomfortable, and like I explained to a lot of females, it still depends on how your body is relaxed enough for us to be able to have it done. And think about it this way. We have pap smears and everything done, and the physical's done once a year. So within 10 minutes, you're actually done. But the mammogram is more important, especially if you're over the age of 35. So anyone over the age, you're more able to have the mammogram done compared to having the breast ultrasound. Now, you can do both. However, you would start still with the mammogram. And then you also have options to do the breast MRIs, and that's mainly for persons who have dense breasts.
Wow. All right. So with the Go Pink initiative, describe it to us. Tell us how it works and what people experience and why it does take people's minds off the stress that comes along with this.
Well, Go Pink is going to be, like we said, it's going to be more of a fun environment. So it's taking you away from the hospital feel, because you can have persons doing all of the different areas, such as the pressure checks and the blood drive happening. And you still have the ability to really sign up for the NHI as well, because a lot of persons don't have health insurance. So the NHI lab program is definitely going to be helpful with that. The music is going to be playing. We do have an area for the kids to play as well. That way you can still have your services done while the kids are on the other end. And this is the opportunity to really more mix and mingle. Something to do on a Saturday. It starts from 10 to 4, and you have the ability to be there. We are going to be offering prizes every hour, so it's going to be a very entertaining day.
And what's the date again?
It's September 16th, next week, Saturday.
Okay, all right. Great stuff. Great stuff. And this is, you're hoping this is going to be like an annual event, or what are we thinking, or even more frequently?
So, I think our hope is that it's something that we can turn into an annual event. Obviously, that will be somewhat dependent on the results of this initial go at it. So that's why we're here, right? We want to encourage people to come out. It's going to be a fun time, like Monisha said. Your kids can kind of go and hang out in that corner, and you can get all of your checks done. You can sign up and schedule for your mammo. You can donate blood. So all of that is there, and I want to give Brenzel an opportunity to just talk, quickly about the importance of the blood drive, because our blood bank has been they've been carrying a yeoman's task all year. I know, because I've been helping them promote, and we've probably done 20, 30.
Close to.
Yeah, 20 to 30 blood drives, partnering with different organizations along the way. And so this is just another opportunity for us to kind of go out and encourage people to donate blood, because it is a necessity. But
and you'll be doing that the same day?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Same day.
Like, a little closer to the mic, Brent.
Like Alexis has been saying, it's to educate the public on the needs of blood. Throughout the years, we've been getting a lot of support from the community. Just last week, Craven sponsored our Craven Week for blood donations, and now we're looking at the Go Pink promotions. We think it's a good opportunity to educate the public on both the needs of blood and give back. All right? It's so much that we can learn when we come to these events. So much things that we can get. We provide laboratory would be out there, so you'll get some free glucose testings, free cholesterol testings. Coming to donate, you get a free hemoglobin check. You get free blood typing. So when you come out, it's so much that you learn about yourself. As you know,
do the blood typing.
Do the blood typing and all of that.
How many people know their blood type? What percentage would you say?
I wouldn't say a lot. Some people have an idea. Some people would go and say, hey, I'm O something, or A something. A lot of people know certain things.
Laverne, do you know yours?
Sorry?
do you know your blood type?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
I do know it.
Yeah, what are you?
But that's my personal
That's not a personal thing. Is it a personal thing?
But it is, because, if you say you're
you say it, then people kind of have to
on the right, so then it's like, you should be giving blood all the time.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah.
LeBron wants us to be calling her every other month.
And, I will say,
Actually, I unfortunately, though, I cannot.
That's the challenge. I think one of the challenges that we have is, Black women in particular typically challenged to be blood donors, and obviously those would be the people who would most often be most willing. So I know, in having gone through that process, so this would definitely be an encouragement to all the men out there. You have, your mom, your sister, your brother, your kids. You never know when it might be, your family member, your friend that is in need of blood. And we always say that whenever we put out our requests for blood donations, because it's true, and like I said, we've been at this all year. I think this has probably been our most active year in pursuing blood donation that I can remember since I've been at the hospital.
And the public has really showed out and shown their support in what we do. We just want to give back to them, because there's a lot of things that Doctors Hospital is promoting now. We have the Go Pink. Currently in the laboratory, we have a special going on for PSAs testing all September. So all those men above 40, you come in and you get your PA test for, I think it's $30 all month.
Okay.
So a lot of promotion. Doctors Hospital is trying to encourage the public to come out, donate, know what's going on with your body, and try to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, excellent. I'm A positive, by the way. I'm not afraid to say. But okay, so what are some of the benefits to giving blood?
Like
and
I
there
said,
are benefits. Right?
There are lots of benefits. Like I say, you get information about yourself. You get your hemoglobin levels. You get your blood type. But also, in the case of men, you get a passive boost in your immune system. When you donate blood, it triggers your body to create brand new white blood cells, red blood cells. If you know, these white blood cells are the things that protect us from bacterial infections, viral infections. So as your body is creating newer, fresher white and red blood cells, it's boosting your immune system to be able to protect you from a lot of things going on. So it has a very good passive effect on your body to boost immune system and your immune response.
So, Alexis, you mentioned it. Who shouldn't give blood? Who can't give blood?
We don't want to put a restriction on who shouldn't give blood. Like Laverne said, some of these things are very personal. So we take that very personal. We take your information to a private level. When you come and donate, you fill out a confidential form, and anything you put there is very confidential. We keep that information above you within ourselves. That doesn't go out anywhere. So when you come in, we tell you all the information that you need to know to donate, because it's very specific on who can and who should donate. So it's a personal level, it's a very personal thing. So we want you to come in so that you can understand why you can't donate, and not as a general form as who or not.
And how frequently can you?
We can donate up to 6 times a year. That's every 2 months.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So if you come out for a mammogram, can you still donate blood? Is that recommended? Any issues with that?
Yes. If you come out for a mammogram, you come in and you pay, you can still be eligible to donate. You could come out and make it a double feature. Come out, donate, get your mammogram done, and all of that. All of that can be done in one shot. You get your glucose checks, you get your cholesterol checks. It's a lot that will be happening on Saturday. So we just want to encourage the public to come out and support.
Save your life and save another life.
Yep.
Right?
I just want to add that mammograms are not actually going to be done on site.
Okay.
What we're doing is we tend to have quite a rush of people during the month of October. So what we're allowing people to do is get an opportunity to schedule their mammograms in advance.
Okay, excellent.
And then any questions that they have, any concerns that they may have, they get an opportunity to talk to our imaging staff and kind of they can expect and kind of just assuage any fears that they may have while they're scheduling it, so that they can come into the hospital and get it done at a later date.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Let's take these calls really quickly, and then we'll get to the Bridge to the Future initiative. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, morning, Dwight. Morning to you again.
Hi.
Let's say I give blood today. How long can you all store the blood for?
Oh, that's a great question. If you give blood today, we keep that blood. We hopefully give it to somebody in need, but that blood will be good for 35 days. That's the expiration on it.
That's not very long.
Donate today. Within a month, we need to have that flowing in the veins of somebody else, so we'd have to discard it.
Right. Can't freeze it or anything. It doesn't work like that.
No, freezing would destroy and rupture the cells.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. So let's take a break. When we come back, we will get details about the Bridge to the Future program. We are talking with Alexis Burrows, Manisha Roll, and Brenza Roll at Doctors Hospital. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. Calling all junior and senior high school students, you could win a brand new iPad for the new school year. Enter the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition. All you have to do is write a strong and convincing essay on the topic, what does going digital mean to you? For junior high students, your word limit is 1,000 words. For senior high students, your word limit is 1,500 words. To enter, email your essay along with your name, school, and grade level, as well as your parents' contact information to alpha@platoalpha.com by Friday, September 22nd. The winners will be announced on Guardian Radio on September 29th. The winner for each category walks away with a brand new iPad. It's the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition, powered by Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, the bank.
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
Too many debt bills? Overdue on loan payments? Improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Shrink your debt payments with a debt consolidation loan and built-in savings that pays you 5% interest. Call 823-4374.
Get ready, Bahamas. The Nations League is upon us. This Saturday, September 9th at 6 p.m., our men's national team, the Junkanoo Boys, go head-to-head with Puerto Rico at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Dive into the electric matchday vibes. Secure your spot now. VIP tickets at $35 with drinks, finger foods, premium seating, and exclusive benefits. Adults for $20 and children under 13 at just $10. Purchase tickets online at bahamasfa.net or in person at the NSA box office. Rally behind the Junkanoo Boys and don't miss out on this soccer spectacle.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage by switching to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch to Scotiabank today. Plus, we'll leave it that easy. Ready to switch to Scotiabank? Call us today at 242-356-1697 or visit bs.scotiabank.com to switch your mortgage to become mortgage-free faster.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
If you're not the one for me, then I'll come, I can bring you to your knees. If you're not the one for me, why do I hate the idea of being free? you're gonna let me down gently. Don't pretend that you don't want me. Our love ain't water under the bridge. If you're gonna let me down.
We are back with Morning Net Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. We are talking with Alexis Burrows, Monisha Roll, and Brenzel Roll with Doctors Hospital. We're going to get to the Bridge to the Future program in just a bit. We got one question though that came in about asking, well, if a person has been diagnosed with hepatitis, can they donate blood? Or what about malaria or dengue that we have now? Does this influence or make a difference at all?
All right. In cases of, I think the first part was if they have been diagnosed
Hepatitis
with
or any other types of...
hepatitis is one of our viral checks. We do have that question on the questionnaire. They are, they would not be eligible to donate if they have current hepatitis infections or had history of a hepatitis infection. That would be a deferral. What was there?
And then they're asking about dengue or malaria, any of those other things that
in
we're
terms
concerned
of
about right now.
dengue and malaria, if they have had dengue in the past but have now been cleared off of medication, it's a deferral period. It's about I want to say about a month or two after you have completed your medication and have been cleared by a physician in terms of dengue.
Oh, so with dengue going around now, do you have to test the blood? Do you have to do extra tests on it now? What difference does it make?
With the terms of dengue, we do screenings to see if the patient is well and healthy enough. A lot of times with dengue infections, you have initial fevers, feeling of illnesses and sickness. So when you come to donate, we screen you. We make sure you don't have a current fever. We ask you, are you feeling well? If you have any symptoms of that, you are deferred.
So how much testing does the blood undergo? I mean, there's a lot of diseases out there, a lot of illnesses.
There are a lot. That's why the screening process is so important that we screen that patient. So if anybody comes in with signs of illnesses or sweats or anything, we mainly test for 6 main blood-borne illnesses. That is HIV, hepatitis, surface and core, hepatitis C, HTLV, and syphilis. Those are our main tests for blood-borne illnesses. Everything else is basically screened for. When you do your questionnaire, we get a history based off of what your history is. Have you been in the hospital within the last 6 months? Have you been hospitalized? Have you had any major illness or anything in the past 6 months? So we screen a lot of our patients, and based off of their answers, we see if they are eligible or well and healthy enough to donate, move forward.
And HTLV is?
HTLV is another retrovirus similar to HIV. It has, it's the same type of virus, it's in the same viral class. It doesn't have the, it's not as severe as HIV, but it does affect your white blood cells, and it can be transmitted via blood-borne transfusion.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Great information there. Thank you very much. All right, so Bridge to the Future. This is not new, right? You've done this before.
This is actually our 6th year of the Bridge to the Future initiative. This is our 5th cohort. So Bridge to the Future is essentially a program that was created. It's the brainchild of our president, Dr. Charles Digges. And it's essentially an opportunity for high school students to get exposure to STEM STEM topics in particular, so science, technology, education, but also within the confines of a hospital environment, right? So sometimes people think of the hospital and they think of purely clinical jobs in the sense of, a nurse practitioner, an imaging technologist, a doctor, that sort of thing. But there's so many different areas that you can go into when you get into the hospital space. There's so many different career paths. And this program was essentially created to give students an opportunity to see the entire world of career opportunities that exist within healthcare. So, like I said, this is our fifth cohort, but we've been running this initiative going back 6 years now. And
I remember when you came on the show to talk about it. Time is flying. Wow.
So we the initial one was my first year actually at Doctors Hospital. So where we are now is it's mostly a virtual program, so there's a lot of communication via email, but we typically have 2 to 3 in-person events over the course of the year. One is typically a lecture done by one of our physicians and an engagement with some area of the hospital specifically. So you may have, our director of imaging come on and talk about, that space, or our director of the lab, that sort of thing. And then we typically do a tour of the facility. Now, we've not done the tour, I think, since we've come out of the pandemic. I'm hoping that we're able to do it again this year. But essentially what it allows the students to do is come into the hospital environment and take a hands-on look at some of the different areas and get an idea of what that looks like if you were working in the lab, or if you were working in the imaging department, or, that sort of thing, and kind of get a different kind of exposure that you might not get. Because a lot of times you hear, kids talk about, well, I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a doctor. And, for a lot of different reasons, that may not pan out. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's, educational level. But then there's a lot of different spaces that you can fit into when you think about it. So this is all about into that environment and into that space. And it's been a wonderful series of events that we have that we've had, and it's been a great time that we've had with our students. We're starting to see, obviously we've been in it for a while now, so we're starting to see students start to come back into the environment. So and one of the cool things that we've done, and we just started it this year, is students who take part in the Bridge to the Future program have an opportunity to then take part in our STEP program in the summer following. So Bridge to the Future runs from October till May. The graduation is typically in June. And then in July, or late July or in August, typically what we'll do is we have them take part in our STEP program. So our STEP program is our student temporary employment program, and that usually runs in the summer. So we have 2 cohorts that's open to the entire country, but then we have a specific segment that's set apart specifically for our students that are coming through the Bridge to the Future program to give them that direct opportunity. So like I said, they get challenges every month. There's prizes at the end. It's a lot of different things. We've seen so much creativity coming out of this space. Students have been challenged to create videos, to create essays, to create graphic projects, and you kind of see a lot of really cool ideas and some of the things that our students in the country are looking at in ways that they can improve the educational system, the healthcare system. It's a wonderful initiative.
Yeah, I'm curious. What are some of those careers that the opportunities that people don't know about? That
so this is
doctor, lawyer, orderly, or
this
something.
is why my imaging people are here and my lab people are here. So I'll let Brenzel and Monisha kind of take over and talk about their specific areas and some of the maybe the off the beaten path that people may not be aware of careers that exist in this space.
Definitely. Monisha, you want to start?
Sure. With imaging ranges from different areas. A lot of persons only think of imaging as x-rays alone, but imaging actually has CAT scans, CTs, ultrasounds. We do fluoroscopy. We have special procedures called interventional procedures. So we do biopsies on persons as well. We work in the operating room because we have live fluoro. And we also have, of course, mammograms.
So someone in imaging will do all of those, or are there specialties within imaging?
We're actually trained in different areas. So you do have persons who would go off to school and specifically focus on radiology itself, or specifically go into ultrasound as a sonographer. But once you're in the imaging department, especially at Doctors Hospital, they cross-train you so you'd be able to be multi-talented, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you're able to help a lot of persons. So instead of just worrying about outpatients, we have the emergency room, we have inpatients that we care to on a regular basis.
Excellent.
So it's a very fun environment.
Yeah. Nice.
I believe these are such great things for especially individuals who are in high school. I can remember when I was in high school and I got the opportunity to do something like this. It helped me to focus on what I really wanted to do in the hospital. I got the chance to go into the lab and see what they actually do. And it's beneficial because these are things you can put on your resume and you try to apply for colleges. And these are things that people look at, especially in the workforce today. They see you have experience. Oh, I've been to doctor's hospital. I've worked in the lab, even though it was more or less as a trainee or as an intern.
Like a work-study program.
Like
almost.
a work-study program. These are things that employers look at. They see, hey, this guy has, whether it be just this initial experience, but they have some inkling on what to do.
Right.
As it pertains to the lab and the Bridge to the Future, we have always been out there trying to promote laboratory sciences because it encompasses so many different disciplines in the hospital. We have chemistry, we have hematology, of course we have the blood bank, but we're looking for future blood bank employees. There's microbiology, there's pathology. There are so many branches in the laboratory that you go and you get exposure to as you come through Doctor's Hospital, and we more or less inspire young individuals to come off and really focus on what they want to do and what they see themselves doing in the future.
Yeah.
So it's a really good opportunity for high schoolers and people moving on into college and even people moving on into the workforce.
But you mentioned it, STEM. These are some of the subjects that scare people off, right? The sciences, math, engineering, technology. What would you say to students out there who are like, I'm not really that good at this, but I'm really interested in a job like this?
So what I would say is, what I wish somebody would have told me when I was in high school is take advantage of any opportunity that is provided to you, right? So I know when just decide the girls at ICT Day, right? People would say, well, okay, you're opening up so wide to all students, but it's like you may not have an interest, or you may think you have an inkling of an interest. It gives you an opportunity to do two things. One, you get to cross off the list if this is not something that you're into once you've done it. But like Brenzel said, it still looks good on your resume because you were taking part in these extracurricular programs, right? But two, it also gives you that exposure so that if you are interested or you develop, that can be the starting point of your interest. So like he said, he came into a similar program and he was in high school and kind of sparked that interest and pushed him and kind of solidified him into that direction. So I think, you don't turn your nose up at an opportunity because, like I said, the program is fun. It's very engaging. We've seen people who obviously are from a lot of different backgrounds and thought processes that come into and do well in the program. So it's, I would say, don't be afraid of it. Look at it as an opportunity, apply. If you get in, take full advantage of the opportunity, be engaged, take part in the sessions, take part in the challenges, and really engage in the program. And that's another thing. Because we do it primarily virtual, it's open to students across the country. So I think when she was asking me, she said she had people from Meguana or Nago who saying they were interested.
Oh, wow.
Sign up. Yeah. Go ahead and register because, we've done, actually, the winner of last year's cohort was a student from Grand Bahama. So even being in a different island doesn't negate your ability to take part in the program, right? You have an opportunity to do just as well as everyone who may be based physically in New Providence because most of it is done virtually.
Yeah. All right, so how does it work? You have a winner? Which grade level? How old do you have to be?
Right. So
tell us all about those.
So the program is open to students between grades 10 and 12. And like I said, you have monthly challenges. So there's scores that are tabulated over the course of the year. And whoever gains the most points at the end of the year, the prize package that comes along with that. And obviously the opportunity to take part in the STEP program in the summer as well. But the monthly challenges, like I said, we've had people, we've asked them to do videos, we've asked them to do graphic projects, we've asked them to write essays, and we kind of do it in a lot of different ways. So depending on where your particular area of interest or expertise is, then you get a chance to kind of shine, right? So somebody may be familiar with playing around with their phone and doing video, they may excel in doing a video project, but then somebody who's really good at writing may excel when there's an essay project. But one other thing I would say is engagement is actually the biggest factor in whether you win or not. Your attendance at events, you're taking part in challenges, that is the big one. So that is really where it works. It's just like anything else. The more you're involved, the more you're engaged, the more you have an opportunity to actually win at the end. That's not necessarily what it's about winning, right. But obviously it's kind of a little tack onto it. The idea is to learn more about what's offered in the space, and be exposed to that and have an opportunity to let that kind of color your thinking. And obviously, if you're coming back to Doctor's Hospital in 4 or 5 years, saying I've done this and I've done that, and you have that on your resume, that's it's only a plus, right? It's only a positive in your corner.
Excellent.
And then you have exposure to our people. So one of the things that I find that young people a lot of times need is mentors, right? So you have an opportunity to get exposure to our president, exposure to different team members from the lab, from imaging, from hopefully we get our nutrition team involved this year, but a lot of different areas of the hospital, and you have the opportunity to maybe tug on somebody's shoulder and be like, I'd like to have you mentor me so you can kind of give me some guidance and direction as I pursue this path that you've already walked.
Right.
So it also provides that opportunity as well. Like we've had Dr. Bonamy, who was our main person handling COVID over the past few years. We've had him engaged in the program. Some of our other physicians, Dr. Moxie has spoken to them. Dr. Babaton Moxie, who's a gastrointestinal physician, he's spoken to our kids before. Dr. Wesley Francis, who is in charge of our surgery department, he's come on and he's had engagement with them. So there's a lot of opportunity. And I know Dr. Digges likes to tell this story back when he was, still working in surgery way back in the day. He had a student who was in the STEP program. He was walking through the corridor and he saw the group of kids. They were in the waiting room for the ER. And he said, anybody interested in surgery? So this one kid put his hand up and he was like, okay, follow me. And so, anybody who knows Dr. Digges, you don't take that lightly, right? So I think the kid kind of hesitated for a second, like, is he serious? Like, is this real? And so the person who was leading the program was like, you better go follow him. And so now you fast forward a number of years later, Dr. Digges has been his mentor. And if you're familiar with surgery, that idea of who ties and unties your gown when you go in is kind of a big deal. So he went into surgery that day with Dr. Digges, and he held on to the gown that he took off, and he was able to say, like, this was my start, essentially. And now he in the U.S. Specialty surgery education, and obviously we hope to get him back into the environment. I'm not sure if he's back in yet, but that's the kind of opportunity that comes out of a program like this.
Excellent. Okay, so what increases your odds of being selected for the program, and how many can you accommodate?
So our program accommodates 30 people, and so we actually have two segments of the program. We've talked primarily about the STEM program, but we also have a nursing cadets program, which I'm sure our Senior Vice President of Patient Care Services, Mrs. Bridget Sherman, will be probably back on in another week or so to talk about that more directly. But the STEM program, the deadline for application is the 15th of September, so next week, Friday.
Okay.
And, basically you submit your GPA, you submit those are factors. But again, we also look for people who have shown an evidence of being well-rounded and who can kind of handle taking on an extracurricular program, that sort of thing. So I would say, if you think your grades are a little bit too low or anything like that, just give it a shot. I would encourage everybody to apply. And then the deadline for our nursing cadets program is the 22nd of September, so it's the week after. And whereas the Bridge to the Future STEM program is a one-year program, our nursing cadets program is actually a rolling program. So if you start in grade 10, you can follow through straight through grade 12 and then obviously go into the full nursing program and be kind of, it basically interested in that doctor's hospital space from Jump Street. So both programs are open for applications now. If you go to our Facebook page, we have the links there. You can go to our website and sign up. Deadline for the STEM program is the 15th of September. Deadline for the nursing cadet program is the 22nd of September.
And if you're in the Bridge program, once we commit to this?
So there's a consistent engagement via email. There's monthly challenges that go out. And like I said, we typically have 2 to 3 in-person events over the course of the 6 months that the program runs.
Wow. Excellent stuff. Very exciting.
So our program director, Candace Turnquest, who is a former employee of Doctors Hospital and has been running this program for the last 5 years, she has her engagement with the kids is just off the charts. I mean, it's something where, like, I wish that, my workload was such where I'd be able to do more of that, but I've seen kind of her engagement with the kids, and it's an absolute fantastic experience. Like I said, most of it is done through email communication back and forth. I think they have some virtual meetings along the way, and then those 2 to 3 in-person events.
Good stuff. Very exciting. Yeah, like you said, wish this was happening when I was in school. Right? But wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us. Alexis Burrows, Monisha Roll, Brenzel Roll. Thank you. Very
Thank you so much.
Keep up the great work that you're doing. All right, we're going to take a break and then be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
If you're not the one for me, then I'll come, I can bring you to your you're gonna let me down gently. Don't pretend that you don't want me. Our love ain't water under the breach. If you're gonna let me down.
Calling all junior and senior high school students, you could win a brand new iPad for the new school year. Enter the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition. All you have to do is write a strong and convincing essay on the topic, what does going digital mean to you? For junior high students, your word limit is 1,000 words. For senior high students, your word limit is 1,500 words. To enter, email your essay along with your name, school, and grade level, as well as your parents' contact information to alpha@platoalpha.com by Friday, September 22nd. The winners will be announced on Guardian Radio on September 29th. The winner for each category walks away with a brand new iPad. It's the Plato Alpha Design Essay Competition, powered by Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. The deployment of a 5G network is still 3 to 5 years away, though the rollout of the newest mobile network could come sooner for some areas. That's according to Cable Bahamas in one of its responses to IRCA and its recently released consultation document, public consultation on internet connectivity and 5G in the Bahamas. The company said in the document that the financial business case for the implementation of 5G across the entire Bahamas is difficult. It said it's more likely that 5G will develop initially for specific customers or hotspot locations and thereafter be rolled out incrementally to meet customer demands. The Inter-American Development Bank launching a new program it calls Bid for the Americas, which is meant to strengthen and grow economic ties between the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean. The IDB is saying the new program will focus on public procurement, trade and investment, and financing. In a statement, IDB explained that the program's launch event featured addresses by Special Presidential Advisor for the Americas and others. IDB president saying in the statement that the U.S. is critical in the IDB's work to scale up development in Latin America and the Caribbean. And BTC says the Family Islands have recently experienced some serious service disruptions, chiefly due to power issues and, quote, malicious acts. The statement explained that customers on Grand Bahama, Abaco, South Andros, Mangrove Key, and Mayaguana have experienced service disruptions with their landline, internet, and mobile services. CEO Samir Bhatti saying that they are in talks with BPL over some of the issues customers experienced recently, including brownouts. The company apologizing to customers in the Family Islands. But again, it says that in Mayaguana there was a brownout which resulted in a drop in the necessary voltage required to operate their network equipment on the island, and that subsequently the damage caused to their air conditioning unit to keep their equipment cool was a problem. But he also explaining that the company was impacted by weather-related issues as well as theft. A lightning strike in South Andros damaged equipment and resulted in a downline in Mangrove Key. And in Abaco, fiber was cut by thieves, causing services to be down. Read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, online gig work is growing globally, particularly in the developing world, creating an important source of employment for women and young people in poorer countries where jobs are scarce. That's according to a new World Bank report released today. The report estimates that the number of global online gig workers at as many as 435 million people, and says that demand for gig work increased 41% between 2016 and the first quarter of 2023. That boost is generating concern, though, among worker rights activists and advocates who are concerned about the lack of strong job protections in the gig economy, where people work job to job with little security and few employment rights. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday, market movers. Finco moving 900 shares, closing at $12.30 unchanged. Consolidated Water up 5 cents, closing at $5.53. Emira Incorporated down 16 cents, closing at $9.06. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,713.25 unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that is going to do it for us today. Laverne Gardner, thank you so much for being with us, as always.
Pleasure.
We got quite a few late texts on the women and the issues of equality and boy. Oh, dear Laverne.
We can't read those, Dwight,
I mean, because we're out of time.
The text already said,
and because we're out of time.
already said we're talking about women too much.
Yeah, too much. Who cares about them? But there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. So even though we may not be as bad off as in Afghanistan or some other place, the mindset is creating a challenge, clearly. But anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Laverne, have a great week and weekend. And
you too.
Everybody stay tuned for the latest on Lee. Again, it might not come directly to the Bahamas, but it will impact us in any event. Especially for boaters and beachgoers. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep you posted here on the Guardian News Network. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned on the clock with Aaron Green next.